You're shacking. We're shacking. It's Shack Together. We've got a Fallout 4 heavy episode in honor of the extremely popular Amazon Prime television show, and also because our guest, Bill Lavoy, is a dedicated wastelander. Lots of talk about that, Asif's jaunt through Tears of the Kingdom. You'll have to stick around to find out if his duping greed has been subsided. In Storytime, we cover Endless Ocean Luminous, a Nintendo Switch game proving to have a controversial review cycle. Guess what? You can gamble on Skee-Ball now at Dave & Buster's. We talk about AMD's earnings, the freshly announced Microsoft Xbox Games Showcase that will hit in June, as well as a mystery follow-up to that showcase, some Starfield patch notes, layoffs at Tesla, more crypto folk entering the prison system, some news on Xbox indies, and of course Amazon's earning results. Before we wrap things up, thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy the show. Here we go.
You know how there's this like Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight coming up?
Yeah, I didn't realize that was not a joke.
Yeah, it's like a real thing.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Do you think, like, because Jake Paul hasn't really lost any of his fights, right? Like he's either a decision or he wins, right?
I don't know that part. Yeah. Okay.
Do you think, I don't know if he's lost many fights or if he's ever lost one of his, like, his fights that he's, promoted for or whatever, but like, right. No way can Mike Tyson lose to this guy, right?
Is the age a factor? I mean, Mike Tyson's getting up there.
Sure. But Mike Tyson, I don't know. Have you seen his videos lately? He is probably the most fit he's ever been. Or
he looks good. Yeah.
He looks really good. And his fists are so goddamn fast. And he still has his uppercut. I don't know. I think he's going to fuck Jake Paul up. But anyway, that whole thing has inspired me. Like, remember the show Celebrity Deathmatch?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if we brought that back, but it wasn't a death match per se, but it was like CEO boxing. And it was like, you could just challenge, like, it would have to be other CEOs, right? So, like, I could go out there and, like, challenge other CEOs and fight them. What do you guys think? Would you guys watch that?
I didn't realize we were diving in. Of course, I would watch that.
I would be your corner man, to be honest.
So, yeah, like, for me, it's like, I was thinking about who would I want to fight, and there's like a long list, right? So first on my list would definitely be David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, because he's just ruined everything over there. I think Bobby Kotick over at Activision, the former CEO of Activision Blizzard, be fun to beat his ass.
Sure.
Tim Cook, I think I could fight Tim Cook pretty well. And I know everyone's like, but why would you fight Tim Cook? No, he's not a nice guy. He's not. He is not listening to his employees who are trying to organize. He removed the mic stands from the Apple shareholder meetings because he can't answer a question. And yeah, he released Apple Vision Pro. I think that's enough reason to punch a guy in the face. But then most
in a
importantly,
sanctioned match, right? Like in a consensual sanctioned match.
Yes. I this is not about me assaulting people. I want this to be legal and within the gaming commission's rules, whatever state we decide to do this in. Hopefully Ohio.
Right, with a Rocky style wind up of, like starting at 0 and then punching meat and then eventually climbing those steps in Philly.
Oh yeah, like if we get this greenlit, like I am going to go to fight camp for like 6 months. Like I'm going to come back just a killing machine. And there are some other CEOs in the games media that I think I would like to fight. I don't want you to have to bleep things. But I can tell you, I didn't sign any NDAs. But yeah, like maybe we could do, I mentioned this, like, how do you remember when, like, I think it was Stone Cold, it was either Stone Cold and The Rock or Stone Cold and Mankind, and they were fighting each other in a convenience store? I think it would be kind of fun to have a fight with one of these games media executives in like a 7-Eleven where it's like no hold bar bloodline rules.
Like a Yakuza style brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Which did, I think, frequently occur, at least in the games I've played, in the middle of a Quickie Mart.
Oh, yeah. And like 7-Eleven or whatever. But yeah, like I think that's one where we could get sponsorship from the store itself. I don't know, maybe we could just go to Waffle House for this, but yeah, I don't know. The more I think about this, I think society needs this show, like now, more than ever. with like the wealth disparity where it is, all these layoffs. Like we talked about it last week, right? Or actually, I think it may have happened after we recorded. Google, for instance, I would fight the CEO of Google. They fired a bunch of people earlier this year, and then what did they do, Joe? They bought back they announced a $70 billion share buyback program and a dividend.
Yeah, I think fighting them in a Quickie Mart makes sense, honestly.
That's the kind of thing that you want to punch the CEO in the face.
Wait, is a Quickie Mart a real thing, or is that just a Simpsons thing?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's my generic form of, it's like the kind of thing, it's like, don't show the Coke logo on your video unless Coke is paying. I'm not trying to say 7-Eleven until they're bought in.
Here's what's really weird about this, Joe. So I just Googled it because I can't help but Google things, even if it's worthless. There are 3 Quickie Marts in the United States, according to Google. One is in Morristown, Tennessee. One is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And then there's a different one that's spelled differently. So the first 2 were spelled Quwike, right? There's one in Canton, Ohio.
No.
And it's spelled Quickie like normally. Quickie Mart and More Store. So there is like literally a Quickie Mart and More Store, according to Google, in Canton.
You have to do a field trip there, obviously.
I just went on Google Maps to look for it, and it's got 5 stars and no address.
Oh, no.
So I have a feeling it might not be around anymore, dude. But yeah.
There's one thing I think you didn't touch on yet, and it's a critical factor in the marketability and the virality potential of this kind of content is, what are the consequences?
Oh, like if you lose, what happens?
Like if you knock out Mark Zuckerberg, what happens?
I think he has to step down as CEO, and I get half of his money. That's fair, right? I just think there needs to be some skin in the game here. These executives get away with everything. I just want some accountability for corporate America, guys.
Zuckerberg might be a bad example, but the other CEOs would work well.
That dude's got a bad knee. You don't understand. I'm talking bloodline rules with Zuck, man. I'm taking a coffee pot to his face. Like, it's one thing like, oh, he's martial arts trained. So am I, motherfuckers. I will fuck you up. And I got the reach on him. Come on. You give me 6 months of a fight camp, I will fuck Mark Zuckerberg up.
The coffee pot would make contact with him, and you would hear a loud clang. Because
it's a robot head.
Yeah. That's right.
Look, I'm not talking about fighting anyone who's has cybernetics involved or any kind of cyborg. I'm not here to fight cyborgs. I'm talking about corrupt human executives. That's what I'm about.
The CHE League.
CHE. Yeah. I just think it's the right time, man. We have too many $1 trillion companies out there. Obviously, Elon Musk is just waiting, right? There, we could obviously include him in this.
There's a storyline on Friends from the 90s about Monica's rich boyfriend having really no other drive. And I think his quote is like, I've conquered the business world. I've conquered the restaurant world. Now I want to conquer UFC or whatever it is that he did.
Doesn't he get tuned up like every single time?
Yeah. He doesn't perform well. Right, is the joke. Yeah. So there's precedent is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but unlike Friends, there's actually going to be a minority in this story.
Oh, no. I'm saying there's precedent for people wanting to, like, as in that storyline is well-trodden ground. Everyone knows that story.
I mean, Friends just last year, we had Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk threatening each other, right? So, like, it was happening. I think that, if Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk did fight in the Coliseum in Rome, that would probably be the most watched event ever on television, right?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Like, me beating the shit out of Tim Cook, it'll do views. And I just...
yeah.
We have like the power slap is like a thing now, and UFC's popular, and WWE's kind of back, and AEW and all these things. It's like, it seems like now's the time. Like,
Yeah. Especially if there's anything that can be monetized, done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking pay-per-view. You're doing pay-per-view.
This is a product.
You can make t-shirts out of this crap. There's obviously like a metaverse tie-in, right? There's going to be, you do a lot of stuff here.
Roblox experience.
Think about making it a VR game where everyone can you jump in VR and then you too can beat the shit out of Tim Cook. Telling you, there's something. I'm onto something here.
Let's start the show.
Is that a good start to the show?
Yeah, let's go.
You're listening to Shack Together, a Shack News video game podcast where if you're not together, you're a listener. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benyamine, today, but I am joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Cake producer, hello.
Oh, sorry, that's right. Joey Sheetcakes. Mm-hmm. And he's not our guides editor. He's our managing editor, Bill Lavoy. I think he might have copy-pasted from the Sam episode.
I messed up. That's what I do.
Bill, welcome back to the Shack News Extended Podcast universe.
I'm happy to be back. And
the Sipu, as the kids call it.
I would like to, for no reason, point out that this is not the Shackcast.
Thank you.
For no reason at all.
Thank you for pointing that out. We appreciate it. It is.
Yes, thank you.
That is not the last podcast that you recorded with us was a Shackcast many moons ago. Before when you came back here. I'm saying this is your second Shack Together episode, which I think is more episodes of this than you did of the Shackcast.
That is correct. I have surpassed my totals for sure.
So there you go. 100% more Bill Lavoy on this podcast here. So yeah, welcome back to the show. As I said the last episode you were on, I was like, let's try to make this less than 6 years in between episodes. So we did that.
6 weeks.
Yeah. Look, we're improving. We got cakes. We got cake logistics. We got fist fights with CEOs. This podcast has everything.
You were last on March 21st. How long has that been?
That's like a little over a month. It's like 5 weeks.
Dang, almost 6. Okay. Yes, Go ahead. You were saying?
If you round up 6 weeks. But yeah, we ask a very important question at the beginning of the show to all of our guests, Bill. It is, what have you been playing?
Most of my time has been spent in Fallout 4 in the last 2 weeks in terms of video game time. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4. I was playing a heavily modded save file prior to the update, and I'm currently playing a virtually vanilla save file after the update, waiting for mods to get fixed. Besides that, I'm playing a lot of DayZ, especially Thursday nights. We're streaming that over on the Shack News Twitch channel. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of Destiny, getting ready for the final shape. But, and I did sneak in some tape to tape as well. I've played a little tape to tape recently. The roguelike hockey game. Yeah.
For the folks at home, and maybe Joe's edification too, let's talk a little bit about tape to tape, Bill. This is like, it's kind of done in the same perspective of like the NHL 94 style games, obviously with a different art style, but like the perspective, right?
Yeah, I mean, it uses a lot of the modern EA hockey games allow you to always face up when you play. This actually does include you face up in the first period, you face down in the second period, and you face up in the third, which is kind of calls back to like some of the older games for sure.
It's a little retro. Yeah. The game's funny as hell. Just like with it's not an arcadey style game, but it has just like it has a sense of humor about it that I think's really charming. Is this out now, or is it still early access?
It's still early access. They actually just put out an update like a week or so ago, and they did a few tweaks to some of the bosses and some of the you have boss battles essentially against teams. And like some of them, to your point about the sense of humor, like there's one team of like farting princesses. And like every time you get close to them, like you'll be driving to the net with a puck and one of them will fart and it'll just like the shockwave of it will send you flying like off to the side. So you're like nowhere near scoring. They've got mountaineers that will throw like grapple hooks at you and pull you back across the ice, and golfers that use actual golf clubs instead of hockey sticks and whatnot, and they'll like chip the puck across the ice and whatnot. They recently just added a soccer team.
Aren't the refs also kind of weird in the game? Like they can be manipulated or something?
Yeah, one of the boss fights is against the officials. So every time you play the officials, they'll throw the puck in the opposite direction on the face-off, so you lose every face-off. They'll call goals back against you. They'll give goal. Yeah, it's pretty. It's funny, but it's funny in a way that even when you don't succeed, like you're not angry. Like it still has that sense of humor to it that you're not salty when things don't go your way, because it's so off the wall at all times, anyways.
And it's a roguelite, so like you're gonna fail. You're gonna go back to the beginning, right?
Yeah, you certainly can. There's 2 difficulty levels, I think. Maybe 2. There's standard and then I guess hard or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I can usually get through standard without any trouble, as long as something crazy doesn't happen. But the hard difficulty can be pretty challenging. So,
but yeah, folks at home, if you haven't checked out Tape to Tape, very good early access game on Steam. And honestly, I would rather play it than any EA NHL game that's come out in the last decade.
Yeah, it's got a real heart to it, which I think is important. It does the little things right.
They're very interesting visuals.
Yeah, I think
I can't tell if it's pre-rendered or not. It almost looks pre-rendered, but close to 3D. The character models, I mean.
Yeah,
but yeah, looks cool.
Fun as hell. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's not even like fully out yet, and it's still like from where it was when we first saw it, Bill. It's really come a long way. I think they had a beta like 2 years ago that we played, and then early access last year.
They have big plans too. I think they're adding of course like more teams, more bosses. I think they're adding like the ability to like customizable goalies and goalie stats. Like it's one of those games that they put out the idea and people loved it, and so I think that now that people are buying the game and whatnot, it gives them the opportunity to sort of like take it to where they probably always envisioned it, So they sort of had to have a little bit of success to pave the road that way.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
I hope someone does the same thing with the NBA.
Oh man, that would be fun.
Wouldn't it?
That idea could be applied to most sports titles, and I would love it. Like, give me a soccer game like that. Give me a basketball game like that. Just give me a football game that isn't Madden, like at all, and I'll buy it. But yeah, highly recommend that game. Wanted to give it a little bit more love when I saw that you mentioned it. Yeah, John's not here, but I'm pretty sure he's not here because he's inside of Fortnite right now. Like either building an experience or experiencing an experience or winning. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess that he's in Fortnite right now.
Yeah, he's stuck though, is what you mean.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. Have you seen the Matrix movies?
To believe it or not, I have not.
Well, that's weird. Anyway, I'm not spoiling anything here, but is it after the first Matrix? Yeah, before the second Matrix, or maybe it's after the second Matrix, before the third. Either way, there's this scene. Bill, have you seen the trilogy?
Yes, but I could not tell you a single thing about the Matrix because it was so long ago.
Do you remember when Keanu Reeves was stuck in the train station, like in between the real world and the Matrix?
No.
Anyway, that's where John is.
That's where John is.
That's where John is. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. He's like in this, it's like this ethereal space that exists between the real world and the metaverse. I think he's trapped there, and we have to send someone to find him. So maybe
probably Donovan.
Send Donovan?
Yeah, send Donovan.
I mean, he does have a lot of Fortnite experience, so maybe that would be the right way to go. He's not a full-on Zoomer or anything, but yeah, he might be able to help us here. See, Donovan, I know you're listening. Help us out. Find John.
Help us out.
And bring him back home. Joe, have you not been playing anything?
Yeah, I just deleted my name from the list. You caught me. I was about to say. What have you been playing?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with a PC game that I was playing last week. I don't know what was going on, but I couldn't use my television, and I don't really play Switch in handheld much anymore. I tend to play it docked with the Pro controller. So I was like, I needed to kill some time. basically, and I was on my PC. So I fired up Snood. Do you guys know what Snood is?
Wow. That is a throwback.
Blast from the past. Yeah, like 2000, 1999 kind of game.
Yeah.
It's like Bubble Bobble, but it was for PC. It took over colleges in the early 2000s. People were going after high scores and stuff like that. So yeah, I played a little bit of Snood. I just wanted to have a little puzzle game. You know, it's great because you can fire it up, play it for a minute, and be on your way with your day kind of thing. So I did play some Snood. I just wanted to shout it out because it's still good. Like, it's still a very good game all these years later. Obviously, it's better with a mouse, so I'd rather play it on PC. They have like mobile versions and crap, but I'd rather play it on PC. So yeah, played some Snood.
Wow.
This may surprise you. I did play some F-Zero 99 this week.
Come on.
I know. I have begun my path to the Grand Prix Championship. I'd say the most notable Grand Prix that I participated in was the the Queen Cup. This was not a mirror Grand Prix. This was regular. I was doing pretty well. Like, I had like I'm gonna say I was like 6th or 8th place on Mute City 2 to start out the Grand Prix. The next couple, I think I did okay on Port Town 2. I did okay on, I don't think I made it to Deathwind 2. It must have been Red Canyon 2 that I died. But yeah, I died. It's frustrating when you die in a Grand Prix.
How many Grand Prix a night are you averaging?
That's the problem, Joe, because during the week, it's like once an hour, and it'll be live for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it's like midnight to 12:10, right? You can play it. That's during the week. So I'm below one a day right now. Yeah. And it's largely because of the next game I'm going to mention. Because I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom all the time.
Sure.
I am back in that game in a big way. I am now I'm still doing that dupe glitch that I described last week. I'm still doing it.
So you, like, your greed has not been subsided and you still need more. Wow.
So because I want to build a lot of things, Joe, and I want to experiment. Yeah. And now here's what I wanted to talk about this week with respects to Zelda is, like, what should I go for? Like, what should I be building? Because now I'm at the point where I have like over 30 of each individual Zonai device, right? Those little balls. I have like 30 of all of them.
Yeah.
I have full battery capacity. I have a bunch of those large Zonai charges. It's like I have over like 100 of them. So I should be good to go when it comes to building things and experimenting. But now I'm like, what should I do? Like, should I saw some videos of like someone made this like flying contraption that can kill whatever. I've seen some that made these like bouncy things. So I'm wondering, like, should I just freestyle it and make my own killing machine? Or should I try to build someone else's? You know what I'm saying?
I think you architecting is more in the spirit of, like, you know, your Mario Maker run.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to copying another design.
I was going to say the same thing. You're creative.
There's so many great designs out there already, though, guys. Like, there's like someone made a Batmobile, someone made the Metal Slug vehicle. Like, I'm like, I want that. Yeah, I guess you're right. I should just, maybe tonight, I'll just start making things, and then experimenting with them. But yeah, I need to sit down and be like, okay, what am I doing here? Because I'm watching a lot of these videos for inspiration, and I saw this one, like, you know how there's a hydrant as one of the Zonai devices, and it just spits water out?
Yeah.
So I saw this machine that was a combo of electric zapper and water. So it's like it zaps your enemy, douses them in water, zaps them again, and they die because they get electrocuted.
That's inhumane.
This is not inhumane. We're talking about killing moblins and boboblins or whatever the hell we call them.
I mean, it is inhumane, but it isn't in goblin, I guess. Is that a phrase?
I don't think so, but now it is. Yeah, I'm not killing NPCs with this stuff, man. I'm going after the bad guys. So if it is inhumane, it will be the Yiga clan that I'm murdering. And they're jerks.
And they earned it, yeah.
They're like always trying to sabotage things, always acting like regular citizens of Hyrule and then laughing at me and attacking me. Like, they deserve everything they get, Joe. So
No doubt.
so yeah, I'm gonna start experimenting because like I was thinking of like a lot of these things involve using the big wheel, right? Because it spins around. So I was thinking of like, what if I stacked like 3 big wheels and I put different lasers or whatever on the sides of them so that it has every weapon, right? Like it can set you on fire, it can freeze you, it can hit you with lightning, it can hit you with a laser. I was thinking maybe doing something like that and then just dropping it on a Gleeok and seeing what happens.
Like you're making like an International Space Station shape thing.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's lethal.
Yes. And maybe I put wheels on the bottom of it. So there's a way to put like there's like a homing drone that you can put on your device that when it sees an enemy, it'll drive or move towards that enemy or focus fire on that enemy. So there's probably a way that I could build that. So yeah, I do think I'm going to start experimenting with builds probably the next few days. So that next week on stream, I will have some kind of machine. But I agree. Like I've been going back and forth in my head with this. Like, should I try to make something that's inspired by other people, or should I just do my own thing? And I think do my own thing for now, but there is going to be a time where I want to build something else. And then the other thing that I do want to do on stream, I do want to just kind of fly across Hyrule east to west and maybe north to south too. So now it's a question of what do I want to fly? Do I want to make it a hover bike thing, or do I want to do something crazier, like with like a ship or you know what I mean?
You have to make a fire stingray, obviously.
Dude, it's going to be hard for me to do that because like fire stingray doesn't have wheels. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need wheels for this.
You could get a little hover going.
How? What hovers in this game?
The fan. You could get some just launch with the fans, right?
Oh my God. So just make the entire bottom of the vehicle fans.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But you'd need rockets on the back so that you don't go straight up. You could do it.
Okay. Put it on the list. Build a fire stingray in Tears of the Kingdom. But this is what I'm getting at. These are like, think about how many fans that's going to take, right? So like, in my head, I want to have an abundance of materials so that when I do come to the stream, I don't have to be duping things on stream. You know what I mean?
Or, well, do the people that do this sort of like as their Twitch persona, like the people that live this life that you're currently living, they must be like hard rebooting the game so that they don't consume stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that going on. I do have a little bit of honor compared to them. A lot of these people are using Yuzu and mods and stuff. So like I'm playing the vanilla version of the game. So I think that I'm kind of back a little bit because of that. But I guess you're right. I could get it to a condition where I just save it and then I could just go back and load that. Yeah, I could do that.
For experimentation's sake,
The problem is if let's say that I do experiment and I make something that I want, and I save it to my auto build bookmarks, it'll disappear if I reload that instance that you're talking about.
Well, you'd have to save at that point, right? That's the save point. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I also saw this one guy did something, and I was just like, I want to do that. It seems so stupid, but I want to do that. He built like a very, very long bridge between 2 sky islands, and I was like, cool. I'm like, that's so dumb. I want to do it. So I'm going to try to do something stupid like that.
How does the RAM work on the Switch? How did they program that?
I don't know.
That doesn't even seem possible.
I don't understand. And I saw this other thing. I just want to try it. Those various flux constructs in the game? They're like on the sky islands. They're like the robots with the square cube thing. Yeah. So I don't know how they did this, but they brought a cuckoo, one of the chickens, up onto that sky island, and then they let the flux construct hit them while holding the chicken in the air. And I don't know if people who've played Zelda should know, if you attack a chicken in that game, every chicken in the game will attack you. So I saw a flux construct 1 get taken out by a bunch of chickens. That's hilarious.
That's good.
I was like, that's awesome. So now I'm like, what else could I? like maybe I could start taking out Lionels with chickens. So now I'm like, where do I need to take this? Imagine like you go to the final boss battle against Ganondorf and you just throw some chickens at him and that's game over.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's like a chicken run or something that could be done in this game, but yeah, I'm interested. I think it requires, like, some of these things are so ridiculous, right? Like, you have to get the chicken to the Sky Island, right? That's not something that's in your inventory, and you can't really carry it. So you have to literally go to Kakariko Village with some sort of flying device that has like a fence on it or something, and you put the chicken in the flying device, and then you fly to that island.
Yeah, or rewind, I guess. You could rewind.
Yeah, that too. So yeah, that's very strange stuff is happening in that game though. And I saw like another one. This person made a UFO that was pretty cool. Someone made like an octopus battle bot that was kind of neat. So they put like tentacles on it, and then like the tentacles, I don't know if they were just there for aesthetic purposes, but either way, I'm watching a lot of videos for inspiration at this point, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about it. I saw this other one where it was like, you know, those hovering platforms, the Zonai devices for that, Joe? With like if you hit them, they stay where they are. So this person like summoned one of those, and it had like a bunch of guns on the bottom of it. So they summon it, and before it falls, they activate it so it stays where it is, right above the Lionel, and it just murders the thing. It's just like right above it, shooting everything you can imagine at it. And I was like, I think I'm gonna make a machine like that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that I'm looking at. There are some of the builds that people are doing are using things that aren't necessarily Zonai, they're not in the dispenser. So like there's mild spoilers, but when you go to the 5th stage and there's like those different depots with the materials in them, Joe?
Yeah, are you talking about like the spiky wall and all that kind of stuff?
Stuff like that, but also there's like parts, like an arch or something. There's like various things that you can get down there, and you can save them into your auto build so that you can use them in these other things. So I need to study some of those parts because I can't dupe them. I have to just go find them, and you basically you build something with them, you save it to auto build, and then it's there. So yeah, there's
for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, free, because when you auto build, it uses Zonai fragments or whatever. So
right.
So it's free except for that part. Right. And then when you auto build, it's important to take all the parts that you have out of your inventory first. Otherwise, it will charge you the Zonai parts or the Zonai for summoning your parts or whatever. So yeah, I got a lot to think about on that front. I do want to like kind of scope out some locations for like where I'm going to fight. I think like, there's like Lionel locations. There's definitely the Gleeoks. I think it would be funny if I go to, have you ever seen the Gleeok den? No. Yeah, there's a Gleeok den in the depths. I kind of want to go down there and fight that dude. Cause like I found that by pure accident, Joe. Like I was looking for a light route or something. And I looked to my left. I'm like, well, that's not normal. It's like this big ass arena with like these huge steps and stuff.
Oh, but where's the Gleeok? I think I've been there, but I don't remember.
There's several in the depths, Joe. There's several of those places. This is in the Hebra region near where the Rito village is. It's like east of there.
Okay.
Kind of on the way to Death Mountain, but not all the way over there.
Crazy game.
It's so good. And just like, I'm really enjoying just traversal now. Like just jumping on a hover bike and going wherever I want is pretty fun. I found like another 2 light routes over the weekend. So yeah, it's definitely taking up more of my time. I'm playing less F-Zero 99 as a result, which is okay. But I think once I get past this stream, I'll probably go back to a more regular cadence of playing F-Zero. I did rank last week. I was like in the top 11,000 players, so not the worst.
Nice.
Yeah, because they tell you your rank if you play Grand Prix or some of those modes. You don't rank if you just play the regular mode. It's a whole separate XP meta thing. Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cruising. All right, we'll be checking in on ToTK. How do you say it?
I say Tears of the Kingdom, but ToTK.
I want a ToTK.
ToTK. It sounds like a Greek pastry.
It sounds like a win-win to me, Asif.
I mean, they sound delicious. I would love some tacos, but no, it's called Tears of the Kingdom. I call it The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom for Nintendo Switch.
No, you got to throw game on. That's my favorite Nintendo-ism that they do. Is they after you buy a new game, they email you and say, "What did you think of Princess Peach Showtime game?" All right, Nintendo.
At least they're asking.
I know. Well, they didn't want to hear my answer to that question. Woof.
You didn't like it?
That's not a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Joe's review. It felt. We don't need to get into that.
What's there to get into?
I do wish reviews were that simple.
They can be. That's a choice.
Be like, up in Slack, and I'm gonna write my review now. It's like 401, 403. All right, I'm done. It's not a good game.
I mean that doesn't satisfy all review needs across the board, but I think for some games that might work.
I think my Madden 23 review would have been just fine with one sentence. Like, I called it best-selling monopolistic trash.
God.
That's it.
We haven't gotten a lot of EA Sports review codes in the recent years, in case you...
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked, Bill. Anyway, this is just... I'm going to throw it in, even though we're not in story time. Barry Sanders, legendary running back for the Detroit Lions, announced that he will not allow his likeness to be used in Madden going forward. Thought that was interesting. Anyway.
Did he say because it's a trash game?
Kinda. He's like, because Asif's right. It was a 3 out of 10. It's a terrible game. Anyway.
Wow.
Let's move on. We're done. We're done with the What We're Playing segment, right?
We're done. Let's head over to a little segment I like to call Steampreciation.
Oh my God.
We'll be right back. All right. In honor of Bill attending today's 13th episode, and because of how his prior appearance went, I opted not to play a game today.
Oh.
But I put together some of my favorite Steam reviews of Fallout 4.
Wow.
And boy, did they not disappoint. There's a couple good ones in here. Are y'all ready?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Fallout 4 is, small context, is having a bit of a renaissance, I guess, because of the Amazon Prime show.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we mentioned that. So just want to give that context that there's quite a few users these days. And many of the recent reviews are extremely negative because of all the broken mods. And help me understand, Bill, what exactly, before I dive into this, what exactly caused the breakage? Because I thought that all of these updates were just cosmetic. I thought Fallout 4 was just going to be prettier now.
So obviously the game version updated, right? There's a very important mod, and I'm not a programmer, so I don't know why, but there's a very important mod called the Fallout 4 script extender, and a whole bunch of mods require that in order to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that the version of Fallout changed, the script extender stopped working. So when it stopped working, thousands of other mods that depend on it stopped working. If you just Google Fallout 4 script extender, you'll see like a very simple page that sort of explains what it does. And so people are kind of upset about that, but that's the short version of why mods aren't really working right now. Some of them are. Like if you open up the Fallout 4 game and choose mods from the in-game menu, they work fine, at least for me. But if you want to do something like a third-party, like Nexus mods kind of thing, then there's a lot of hoops to jump through. That I should also say that I think the script extender is very close to being fixed, so this won't be an issue much longer, I don't think, unless there's other individual mods that depend on the version number that just people aren't updating or whatever. They might not work going forward.
Wow. Well, even Asif of shacknews.com, lowly Shack News compared to Bethesda, had the goodwill of reaching out to modders of the Shack News experience before massive updates went live. Surely they can do the same.
I mean, I still break things when we update the site.
Yeah, but you didn't mean to.
There's also the mod, what is it, Fallout London, is that right? There's a mod,
right,
that's being built that they basically were ready to release it about the same time as Fallout 4 did their next-gen update, and they had to delay it because they have to make sure everything is working correctly. So I do agree. I think it would have been cool for Bethesda to go to, like, they must know, right? They must know about the Fallout 4 script extender and how important it is. Like, how hard would it have been to coordinate with the person or persons that make that, just to lower the impact, I guess.
Even if it was hard, it just seems like your game is so about mods. All right.
I've played 23 or 24 hours since the update, and I've been doing it on a vanilla save because I'm just waiting. The save file I want to play on, I can't because it requires the script extender to be working. So I have to wait until that's fixed, and then I can update the script extender and then see if my mods are working, and then try to go back to my like old save that has like 2.5 days in it or something like that.
Wow. Well, in the meantime, while we wait for the script extender, we can enjoy some of these lovely morsels over at steampowered.com on the Fallout 4 page. Procky, with 80 hours in the game, gives it a thumbs up and says, good. God, a man after my own heart. Yeah, really. Like in the vein of Joe Stasio reviewing Princess Peach.
Oh, that.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did not like it. Correct. That's right. But the brevity is what I'm talking about. Like, Zen, username Zen, thumbs up with 3 hours. I wish they added a multiplayer mode. Brother or sister, you're in the wrong game.
Fallout 76.
You're in the wrong decade. This game's 9 years old. They're not adding multiplayer to that.
No, but yeah. But it's also like Fallout 76 exists.
That review was posted this morning.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Let's see. With 52.6 hours on record, Pinner gives it a thumbs up and says, found a kid in a fridge, sold him into slavery, 10 out of 10. It seems like an insane way to play the game, but okay. Boncho, with 17 hours, says, Fallout 4 is not a game where you go and find your son. It's a game where you start out looking for your son and then promptly forget about him. Now, I forgot. I've played maybe 20 hours of Fallout 4, and I forgot that that's how it started. That's ridiculous because the game clearly wants you to do other stuff besides find your son.
Yeah, it's like Zelda though. It's like save the princess, but first find me 15 potatoes.
Now, Fallout's been out for 9 years, right? So can I say something a little spoilery?
Sure.
Spoilers for Fallout 4.
Your son's a dick. Like, I don't like, now that I know the story, I don't want to find him. When I do find him, I usually kill him.
Keep it to the game, Bill. Keep it to the game.
I send him to the afterlife pretty much every playthrough.
Is that a euphemism, or do you kill him?
I kill him. Yeah, I kill him.
Jeez.
That seems worse than being sold into slavery, but I don't know.
The quest about the kid in the fridge is actually really cool, and I want to point out that you can also just take him home to his parents. So that player is making a choice that I didn't know you could make, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn. Korstead, with 33 hours on record, says, I've nearly finished making my character. How is the character creator in this thing?
It's really good. Obviously, like, there's better ones since because of just, the advancement of technology, but quite a lot of options. So you can do like full sculpting of the facial features and stuff. You can customize the male character and the female character both, and then you choose which one you want to play as. And the game generates your son's looks based on the look of the parents. So you actually can influence like what your son looks like in the game.
That you're the son that you're going to murder.
Not going to,
ostensibly.
I repeatedly do, yes. But yeah,
you have the option to murder.
Yeah, the game's really good at kind of making you feel like you want to find your son and like it's your baby boy kind of thing. And then it just turns out that like things are not as they seem, and it's just not a good person.
No.
With 1,270.6 hours on record, Jarek says, this is a thumbs up. Fallout 3, where's my father? Implying a tagline for the game. Fallout 4, where's my son? Fallout 76, where's my refund? That's a solid joke. It's a well-written joke.
Solid joke.
It's good. With nearly 70 hours on record, RadScan2 says, I installed 150 plus mods and crashed the game 10 out of 10. So like everybody, like this is the Fallout 4 experience, right? Like that's just what people do. Like what would you estimate is the ratio of vanilla players to modded?
So the best I can give you is there was an article I read today that showed that there's new mods. One of them is to prevent Steam from doing the update by tricking it into thinking you've already done the update. And that has, I believe, 23,000 downloads. And then there's one that reverts back to before the update that has, I think, 35,000 downloads. So what? That's like 58,000. So I guess like on PC, 58,000 people are either trying to like roll back the update or avoid the update compared to how many people are playing right now. I don't know how many are, but there's a lot. I would say, like anything, it's vocal folks, right? Like people who are in the modding community are online and they're very computer literate. They have to be in forums and Reddits and things like that so that they can get instructions on how to install these mods and help other people. And I don't think there's as many people as what maybe we assume. Yeah, I'm not sure. PC obviously really high. So on console, you can't use like Nexus mods. You'd have to use whatever in-game mods are available that Bethesda approved.
Sure. Well, Defusing Bombs with 97.3 hours on record says that you can have sex with a 200-year-old robot in the game. An important qualifier. On the review.
I don't think. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. I don't think you can.
Well, are you calling him a liar?
I'm gonna have to do an investigation and then I'll report back in like 6 weeks when I'm back on Shack Together. There's romance, but I've never, unless it's a mod. If it's a mod, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. With 290.9 hours on record, Engineer with a J says, mod the living bleep out of it. So more people going that route. We have 2 left. Icy Renee says, this game was so good. The modding community is better. If you play 20 games this year, 15 of them should be Fallout 4.
You have to mention how many hours they have played.
I was saving that. And unbelievable 4,751 hours on record for Icy Renee. Holy 0.8. God. Yeah, sorry, 0.8 on the way to 4752.
Well, on its way to 4752. Jesus. That's a lot of time in one game.
Yeah.
But this next person. Oof.
Yeah, the creme de la creme. Wrapping up the segment is Veronica's Touch, which is emblematic of the following quote. Veronica's Touch says, it's an all right game. I only play when I'm single. And they have a remarkable 9,113.9 hours on record. So ostensibly, they only play Fallout 4 and are only single, presumably.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. I am at 895.9 hours on Steam, with 29.8 hours in the last 2 weeks.
And so you're not even, I mean, you're at like single digits percentage of that number.
Yeah.
And Bill, you play Fallout 4 so much.
I mean, I'll put it down for 6 months or a year sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But you come back to it.
Yeah, when I come back to it, I usually get into it, and I will get through, like, the save file that I'm waiting to go back to that has the modded version is like 2.5 days in, I think. And I have barely touched any of the DLCs, and I haven't even finished the campaign because, again, like the campaign, you're like, yeah, that's fine, it's fun, but it's really not about that at all. So
would you say that 800 hours is spread across a year? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Like how many like real life days of playing is 800 some odd hours for you?
Gotta be years.
Oh, like how long have I been playing Fallout 4?
That would be like 2.5 hours a day.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah.
And the problem is, like, there's times where Bill's playing it all the time, like every day, and then he'll go like a year without playing it, and then he comes back and then he does it again. So it's like, it's lumpy, I would say. Like, but just having known Bill for a while, like, You can set your watch to Bill playing Fallout 4.
I would.
He comes back to it a lot.
The last 2 weeks, I'm probably playing like somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 hours a day.
And we're making content too. So like, it's been nice for us because it's like a whole bunch of new people are playing the game, so they need guides and they're interested in our videos. Greg's doing a good job of getting all sorts of videos up on our social and other channels.
Yeah, I still think it's kind of weird because the things that we're showing in the game right now, like on social media and YouTube, like they're not new.
No.
They've been there for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
I still think this is one of the most alive open worlds, like even compared to any of the games that have come out since then. It's probably in the top 5 in terms of like the fact that the open world just exists and proceeds and progresses, whether you have involvement in it or not. It really just feels like something like a place where things are happening and they're not always like centered around you, like it's not activated when you enter the area. Like you'll hear massive battles between factions going off like blocks and blocks away. And like as you get closer, like you hear things like pick up and then you show up and it's like super mutants fighting raiders and fighting the Brotherhood of Steel. And, all of a sudden feral ghouls come running in and it's absolute chaos. It's one of the most satisfying open worlds to spend time in. That it probably is the most satisfying open world to spend time in for me. Not the most relaxing, most satisfying.
Wow. We got to have Bill back so that he can take us through how he feels about Witcher 3 versus Red Dead 2 versus Fallout 4 versus just all. I know Bill has his open world escapes, and I'm curious what he gets out of each of them, but we don't have time for that today.
You got to throw the Long Dark into there too, then.
The Long Dark, exactly, right. Last thing, quick calculation. If this is a 9-year-old game, Veronica's Touch would have to play at minimum, well, not minimum, exactly nearly 3 hours, 2.77 hours daily since the day of release to hit that number. So if you miss a day, that's right. Yeah, if they missed a day, they'd have to potentially double up the next day. That's a ton of time. Kudos to them. This has been Steampreciation.
They said in the review, though, they only play it when they're single. So, I mean, if you're single, you have plenty of time on the weekends. So it doesn't necessarily have to be 3 hours a day. Maybe it's like your entire weekend and then like 30 minutes a day during the week or something. Hard to say.
I really wish I had the energy to play something that, like, to be that dedicated to one game.
I mean, I think it's a function of age.
Age plays a role, for sure.
Age, having kids, all sorts of things. But like, yeah, or being married, whatever. Like there's like responsibilities that adults have that keep us from being able to play games to the extent that.
Yeah, but I almost mean like, I just hit a point, and I do this in all games, where I'm just like, the way that I play them, I eventually just burn myself out, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I go fight something else.
I thought that was going to happen to me with Tears of the Kingdom, and so far, no. I think at the end of last year, when I was sitting at like 185 hours in the game, and I wrote my review, I was definitely ready to not play it for a little bit. But yeah, after taking that break, and like I know you've taken breaks from Fallout, obviously. But like, yeah, coming back to an open world game that you enjoy and that it's just, it's refreshing. But you're right. The game that I burnt myself out on like that, Bill, was Animal Crossing New Horizons. The turnip game really, really broke me. Once I had like 110 million bells, I was like, what am I even doing?
Yeah, that might be the game I didn't burn myself out on.
It's because you did. I know several of our staff members that didn't because it was their first Animal Crossing game. For me, it's like 4th or 5th. And like, I had something like 900 hours in New Leaf. So I was just like, and the big difference, like, I really do think that the turnip game really did change things. There was like a gold rush in April of 2000. Everyone was trying to get turnips and the best prices for turnips. There were websites built for that. Like, yeah.
I was also obsessed with building Canada. So.
Yeah, I saw a thread about it on Chatty yesterday. This guy was like, I'm just trying to get peaches for my island, my kid's island. And I was like, I have peaches. I have everything. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that.
Hey, it's all good.
I guess it's story time.
It's absolutely story time. Thanks for listening to Steampreciation.
I look forward to future Steampreciations because that seems like you could do that with a lot of games.
For sure.
So yeah, nice. And I can actually pronounce it. it wasn't a game, so there's no pressure on Bill or I to win. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Thank you.
On to the next thing. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Endless Ocean Luminous got reviewed at Shack News and a lot of other places. Ozzy didn't hate it. Like, a lot of people seem to hate this game based on the review scores that I've seen elsewhere.
What's up?
I guess the story's not that interesting, but to me, it's like it's a game about, you know, marine life and swimming around and detecting various whales and sharks and fish. It's not the Abyss. You know what I mean? It's not some groundbreaking story.
You mentioned a certain other outlet score, and that number, I'll let you say whatever you want to say. I don't, you know, but that number that they gave it implied like broken. Those numbers are reserved for broken games.
I know who you're talking about. I know what they did. Hold on. I want to bring up just something I saw in that review that I thought was kind of strange.
Okay.
I'm nowhere close to seeing the conclusion. Yeah, so in the first paragraph of the review at this 3-letter website, the reviewer said, after 26 hours spent actively in dives and plenty more with its menus, I'm nowhere near close to seeing the conclusion of Luminous's shallow story. How are you going to judge the game and its story when you didn't even play the whole game?
Strange.
That's a 4 out of 10 review. And in the first paragraph, they said they didn't even finish the game.
Huh.
Ozzy finished the game. And he did say the story was mundane. It's one of the negatives he put in his review. But it wasn't so bad. Like a 4 out of 10, that's a terrible game. Like a 4 out, especially from a 3-letter website. Like, they never give 4s to anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very strange review. It was definitely an outlier. But other people don't like it either. It's getting 5s, it's getting 6s. You know, a 7 at Shack News is like, it's not the greatest game, but it is not bad. You know, so yeah. Ozzy said some of the highlights were like the pressure-free gameplay. It's just chill. Like if you like swimming around and looking at things, it seems like a nice chill game. Beautifully presented ocean with a ton of wildlife to meet. Layout changes with each new dive. It's more satisfying when you're playing with friends. This is I think it's a Nintendo multiplayer game that supports like 16 players at once or something.
Right.
He did say that longer sessions can diminish the wonder of the game. And yeah, there's limited sea creature animations. But to say that it's just some terrible game, I think is a bit of a stretch. It may not. I think they're expecting a lot from Nintendo this year, and maybe that's just a bit too much to expect. But this is such a weird IP for them to bring back. But yeah, I don't think it's... I think Ozzy's review is kind of spot on. I'm buying the game. But yeah. Sorry, these are quickies. So we got to move on. Yeah, 7 out of 10 of Shack News. Other websites gave it worse scores. You guys want to hear an insane story?
Yes. Dave
& Buster's to allow betting on skee-ball, hot shots, basketball, and other arcade games. America has a gambling problem.
Yes.
Like we got a big gambling problem. If we're going to start gambling on skee-ball, we got a problem. Like, There's this guy I follow on Twitter, which I don't recommend anyone go on that platform. His name's Chris Reflog. He organized the Cleveland Browns parade when they went 0-16, and he's gone on to have a show and all this stuff. He, during the high school football season, he tweets out the over-under and spread for high school football games. And I'm like, that's a level of degeneracy that I didn't expect. This is even worse.
This is worse, yeah. Well, they're both bad.
They're both horrible, right? Like, you shouldn't be gambling on high school basketball or high school football or whatever, but you definitely shouldn't be gambling on matches of skee ball. Also, like, can't you throw it? Like, how are they going to... The monitoring of it, I'm very confused. We have a Dave & Buster's in Canton, So I may go down there when they implement this just to understand what exactly is going on, because this seems like a terrible idea. And it's like, it's also a strange, because like Dave and Buster's I know it's not necessarily for kids, but it is family friendly, right?
There's a child in this photo, in this marketing photo. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I monetizing carnival games like that is just, I don't know, bad idea. I don't like it. Any thoughts on gambling on skee ball?
It's a solution to a problem that didn't exist. Why won't they sanction my skee ball betting?
Yeah.
Come on.
And like, Ohio legalized gambling years ago, and there were all these skill game stores that popped up in town, and we have a casino in Cleveland. There's like a racetrack that for horses that is a casino now.
I had to look up skee ball.
Wow.
As soon as I saw an image, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what skee ball." I just didn't know it was called.
Is there like a Canadian name of it or something?
Poutine ball?
No, it's just that I would be in an arcade and be like, "Oh yeah, that game where you like roll the ball and get it in the thing." Yeah,
the circles. Yeah. So yeah.
No, you shouldn't be able to gamble on that. I do agree. That's one of the stupider things I've ever seen.
It just seems like Joe, you nailed it. It's like solution to a problem that didn't even exist. Here's another story about a different problem. AMD, their Q1 2024 gaming segment revenue fell 48% from the prior year. And they said that a lot of this has to do with their custom, semi-custom revenue and lower Radeon GPU sales. So it's weakness in the PC side, but it's also weakness in the console side. So they supply chips to PlayStation for PS5, Microsoft for Xbox Series X and S, and they are inside of the Steam Deck. So I don't think you can extrapolate this to mean something about Steam Deck, but we have already heard reports from Sony and Microsoft this year that hardware did decline in both cases. So, we're entering year 4 for both of those consoles, or the family of consoles, right? So it's not that crazy. There was a supply-demand imbalance in 2020 that kind of resolved by 2021 and definitely by 22. So it feels like most people who could afford these things, that want these things, have bought these things. But now we are seeing a decline. And it's being confirmed by multiple analysts. It's being confirmed by these reports from different companies. So yeah, gaming hardware is in a rough spot right now. AMD is feeling the effects of that. But have no fear. These are quickies. Microsoft announces an Xbox game showcase and a mystery game direct for June 2024. So the Sunday of our Lord and Savior's Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest will now have an Xbox presentation followed by another presentation. What do we think the other presentation is?
Well,
because last time they did a Starfield one, right?
Right, like so they're advertising like the thing that immediately follows. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be the Starfield DLC.
Did you see that there's an image that they included and it has like a wolf with 3 heads?
Yeah. And that's the Capitol building behind it?
Yeah. I'm thinking it might be a Call of Duty direct.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, did they skip this past year? Or was this the
COD?
Did Call of Duty skip?
I don't think so. I think they had a campaign, didn't they?
Oh, or no campaign. Was that it? Something was different this past year, I thought.
As you can tell, we spend a lot of time thinking about Call of Duty.
We're big COD heads. The fish, I mean.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 came out last year.
And they had no campaign? Is that right?
No, it does have a campaign, I think.
Well, I'm all out of sorts.
I think the problem is that they announced that something wasn't going to... I don't know. Man,
They announced that they were taking a year off, and then they didn't.
Yeah,
I think is what happened.
Okay.
This was the Sledgehammer game. It was released on November 10th, 2013. It does have a campaign. But yeah, these are largely just vehicles to keep moving Warzone forward too. So I don't know. It seems like they could do a COD direct.
Well, if it is a COD direct, redacting it in the marketing makes
dumb.
Some sense to me. No, I think because it would fall like a pancake.
Yeah.
Because COD, sells a million, whatever, bajillion copies. But I think it's such an auto purchase that like it doesn't need the same marketing mechanisms that,
sure,
more hardcore gamers appreciate. So sure, if this is COD, yeah, make it a mystery so that people tune in, because I think it's safe to say we probably wouldn't watch this except to cover it for work.
I mean, we're going to watch it regardless of, it could be a Bug Snacks direct and we would watch it for Shack News. But yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's what I mean.
Thinking about what they've done previously, like they did a Starfield direct. We're nowhere near another Bethesda game. It doesn't look like it's a id Software title.
We do have the Starfield DLC coming out in the fall, though.
Yeah, there's no reason to do a direct for a DLC, though. That could just be a segment in the showcase.
This is Microsoft, though, right?
Yeah, it is. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But anyway.
Perfect Dark.
2 directs coming in.
We don't know. It looks like the Division 3. But obviously it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
But there's no way in hell it's going to be a Division direct because they don't even own Ubisoft yet.
Right.
God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Imagine.
Put that out in the universe, man.
Dude, someone's got to buy them. Their stock is just circling the drain. And
watch it beat EA.
We've talked about, they're only a 2.8 billion euro company right now. Nintendo could buy them straight cash, which means Microsoft could buy them 10,000 times. So yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on there. Microsoft probably does. Bill kind of mentioned it already. We have Starfield May 2024 update patch notes. They're adding improved surface maps and difficulty settings, Bill. This is a pretty big ass patch notes list too. So they're
also adding the ability to decorate the interior of your ships. Whereas before you could like choose modules, but you couldn't decorate. And now you can literally place furniture wherever you want to move it around, and a land vehicle as well.
Oh,
which kind of slipped through the notes. I just noticed that in there and I was like, oh, that's a big thing. Like you can drive around the surface of planets now. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow. Nice.
Is this going to get you back in, Bill?
I got to get through my Fallout kick first. So
yeah, I figured. And I think it's pretty telling that, you have 900 hours or whatever in Fallout. And I know you were looking forward to Starfield, but it's been.
Starfield's great. It's just not like if Fallout 4 is the goal, Starfield's like 30% of the way.
Mm. All right. Well, moving on. These are quickies. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm sure we'll have some coverage about the patch down the road, and we'll have gameplay or whatever. I'm gonna label this the worst story of the week, guys.
Okay.
I'm sure there's worse stories out there. I'm talking about in our coverage space.
Right.
Most of Tesla's supercharger charging network team has been reportedly laid off. Apparently, this is a report from the information.com that leaked an internal argument about Elon. Apparently, Elon has been on this cost-cutting mandate across the entire company. And he got into an argument with the head of the supercharger division. She would not carry out the layoffs that he wanted her to do. So instead of just firing her, he fired her and almost her entire team of almost 500 people. And this is like one of the most successful things Tesla has ever done. The supercharger network. Like I think we wrote an article about it last week. There's like 6,300 charging networks around the world, charging stations around the world. This makes Tesla range anxiety not an issue. And it's very strange because the Inflation Reduction Act and the Biden administration has created all these opportunities for companies to create charging infrastructure. They haven't been paying it out very quickly, but the money's there, the budget's there, and Tesla's even signed a bunch of other OEMs as partners to use their standard. So like, this is one of the best things they've ever done is build this network out, and he's firing all these people. It's kind of baffling. I heard a rumor that it's because you physically can't park a Cybertruck in the supercharger spaces without double parking to charge.
Are you kidding me?
No. So, and it's because they built those for other cars before the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck's a disaster. And I think if you say anything bad about it around Elon, he's taking it personally. And it's not just this division. The VP of Public Policy quit. The head of Investor Relations quit. Everyone's leaving. I think it all started in August when Zach Kirkhorn, the CFO, announced that he was leaving. That was very unusual because he had done such a great job at Tesla. But I have a feeling that it's got to be really frustrating over there. And like, I know Elon is so attached to this brand that a lot of people hate Tesla, period, end of story. I've engaged with people who work at Tesla. Like I've met engineers, I've met people who, do roadside assistance. I've talked to people at the maintenance facilities and stuff. There's some really talented, smart people who work at Tesla, and he's undermining them with his actions. But this really feels like an example of an out of control person where the ego has taken control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad news. That's bad news for Tesla shareholders. It's bad news for anyone who likes electric vehicles too. So yeah, I hate everything that guy's doing. We already talked about Fallout on Prime, but it is official. It's the second most watched debut of an Amazon Prime Video show. 65 million viewers in 2 weeks. Pretty impressive.
That's a lot.
And it's already been greenlit for season 2. So congratulations to folks over there at Amazon Prime Video. So this isn't as much of a story, this next one, as I just thought it was important for us to talk about. We posted a video on our social media and on YouTube of Boston Dynamics, which is like a robot company. They posted a video of their robot dog named Spot, but the dog is dressed up as an actual dog, like wearing a dog outfit, like a costume. And it's maybe the most awkward 1-minute video I've seen in the last few weeks. What do you guys think of this?
Well, I mean, I think there are nefarious use cases for said dog.
Yeah.
But, like without that context, it's uncanny and impressive. Again, without context.
But like, don't you...
Yeah, you're going to introduce the butt? Of course, yeah.
I'm
on board with the butt.
This is a company that a lot of their products are not going to be consumer facing. They're going to be used in war. Like, I don't know if it's this specific robot, but they have one that's designed basically to carry munitions in war. So I think it's just a little creepy, man, when you see... hey, look at our robot and it's dancing, or hey, look at this robot dancing with a dog outfit on. It's like,
we're in the dystopia.
I find that stuff terrifying, all of it.
Yeah. It's just creepy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody just needs to rewatch the Terminator movies again and just like think about it for a bit.
I think it's more like, I don't know, have you guys watched Futurama much?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah.
Do you remember the Lucy Lubot episode?
Yes.
Where you could you had a robot, you could buy like a likeness of a celebrity, and then you're dating them all of a sudden. Yeah. This seems like we're not very far from the Lucy Lubot. Because the minute that you can have sex with one of these robots, like that person in the Fallout's review, I just think it's not that big of a jump to go from there's a dog robot in a dog costume to here's a humanoid robot in a human costume, right? So
yeah, we're going there.
Be careful what you wish for, folks. Could be the downfall of society. Speaking of the downfall of society, we haven't talked about crypto lately on this podcast. Binance, which is just a horrible name. Is it Binance or Binance? It's Binance, right?
I think it's Binance, and yeah, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
This founder was sentenced to 4 months in prison for money laundering. The big difference here is that he, I would say the big difference between him and the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, they were able to show Sienter like a motivation to do evil or bad. Apparently, this guy Changpeng Zhao they haven't been able to pin the motivation on him. He was just negligent. I think there's also something else going on where he was part of the FTX case, so he may have given them information in exchange for a lighter sentence or something. It is a reduced sentence from the prosecutor's recommendation of 36 months, so I'm guessing there's something that he gave them to get that. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anyone in the crypto space that isn't a charlatan? Like, that's all I have. I'm just curious. So yeah, those are the quickies. We did it. And now on to the longies. So, when I think indie games, I think Microsoft, IGN, and Xfinity, right?
Yeah, the major players in indie space.
So ID at Xbox had an event that was shown exclusively on the IGN Twitch and YouTube and social channels, hosted by IGN people. And there was a couple things in there that were actually pretty neat. I just wanted to break out a couple of these stories. Vampire Survivors version 1.1, it's called the Laboratory free update, is out now, and they're getting Contra DLC. That game is outstanding. Big fan. And they made a joke in their trailer about how they're a quadruple A.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So congratulations to Ponkla Games for being the second quadruple A game ever. That game's great.
What was the first one? Remind me.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones by Ubisoft.
Right. How could I forget?
How could you? How dare you forget?
Is that still playing that? Is that still a thing, Skull and Bones? I haven't heard anything for a month or two.
I deleted it. I deleted it. I didn't. I don't know. Donovan played it. That's the one person I know. But no, I think it's dead. Anyway, here's a not dead game. Shack News Indie Game of the Year 2023, Humanity, is coming to Xbox Game Pass on May 30th. They had a sweet trailer. I want to point out, we're not featured once in that trailer. We're featured twice in that trailer.
Nice.
Yeah. So shout out to Enhanced Experience over there. They make just really cool games. I don't know. Have you played Humanity, Joe, or seen it?
Seen it, yeah. And I think it was in the Humble Bundle today that I got, so I could play it now.
You should. Are you into puzzle games?
I am. And actually, I've always liked the look of this one. And it's kind of like a Lemmings, right?
Yes. It's like Lemmings, but it's kind of like Captain Toad meets Lemmings because it's a 3D puzzle. And you are a spiritual, like a specter of a Shiba Inu, and you help guide the people, and you can guide them. Like, there's like a way to 100% it where you get the gold characters, and then there's like the easy way to clear it kind of thing. So it's there's a lot of replay value there. There's also a ton of user-generated levels that are all awesome. Yeah, I love this game. It's very good. And yeah, it's going to be on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you'll be able to play it. But yeah, it's also, I think it's just coming to Xbox in general. This is a game that I wish was on Switch. It's not there yet. It'll get there. Just based on the track record of Enhanced, they release a game on PlayStation and PC, then they move it over to Xbox, then they move it over to Switch. And when they did, like, I know that Tetris Effect is like considered a very graphically intensive game and everything. So most people would probably want to play it on PlayStation or on whatever. I have like 185 hours in the Switch version of that game. So yeah, I don't think it matters what version.
That's a lot.
I love that game.
This does look like a challenge for Switch, but hey, you say a good track record goes a long way.
I think it's just that they spend the time to make sure the port works. Like, it may not be have the graphic fidelity of Tetris Effect for PC or you know, whatever, but the core of what makes that game great is all there. The synesthesia engine, the music, the interaction of how music and the levels work. Yeah, I've said it many times, but if I could have reviewed Tetris Effect Connected in its current state, I would give it a 10 out of 10. No question. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And if you go back and you read my review of Tetris Effect, because it wasn't connected at the time, every single thing that I put as a negative, they have addressed. It's like they read my review and just were like, okay, let's fix all the things Asif said.
Did you review Humanity?
I did not. No, I think TJ did. I was deep in... I had like 3 review assignments last year, and I was deep in one of them. And then this last thing, I love adorable puzzle games, and all you need is help is a multiplayer co-op puzzle game from the team that brought you Pixel Junk Monsters. This trailer is adorable. The song that's playing, everything about the game just looks just very cute and cool, and it gives me Watam vibes, which is a game about holding hands with your friends and singing and dancing around in a circle.
Sure.
So yeah, if you want like a nice, cute game, I think All You Need Is Help is going to be coming out. It's either later this year or next year. But yeah.
Cool.
Those are 3 highlights from that super indie, you know, when a $2.5 trillion company partners with a multi-billion-dollar cable company, and they find the largest website in gaming, all come together. Perfect recipe for an indie showcase.
Yeah.
Because
that did a great job.
Yeah, good job. Good job, Phil. Just great job, Phil Spencer. Oh, yeah, he should go in the battle royale for the CEO.
I was waiting for you to bring it up before.
While we're at it. This is the last longie. We're going to wrap up here shortly. Amazon. Have you guys heard of them?
It doesn't ring a bell.
They sell books, right?
So Amazon is this online retailer. They have a website where they sell books and toilet paper and I don't know, everything. They reported they definitely sell fishing lures.
Mm-hmm.
They reported revenue. This is for 3 months, Joe, of $143.3 billion.
That's a lot. That's what is that annual? 6?
Getting close to 600 billion, yeah.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Company is wildly profitable. On that revenue, they beat expectations. 98 cents per share versus 83 cents expected from Wall Street. The stock isn't really going up a lot today on the news, but it's pretty impressive. I did want to point out that AWS by itself had a $25 billion quarter, which is insane. Because now AWS, like just by itself, AWS is like one of the largest companies on earth. And much like how in the AI space, all roads lead to NVIDIA, it feels like on the web and in cloud, all roads lead to AWS.
I might have a differing opinion on that, but that's my.
Where do you think the roads are leading? Curious.
It's not that I think they're leading elsewhere, but I have found I consider myself like a mom and pop level developer where I am good at assisting smaller firms with web solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, AWS doesn't fit the bill, which is interesting because I think they do try to.
What does then?
It's not going to be interesting to the listeners, but I've been working with Vercel quite a bit lately, which is perfect for my use case.
And what's going to stop Amazon from buying Vercel once they become a threat to AWS?
Well, I don't think they'll ever become a threat, but certainly they could be up for sale. Yeah.
That's my concern is like these companies have gotten so big that whenever real competition shows up, they can either squash them through a price war or something. I think the other thing going on at AWS, Joe, is like it comes back to AI compute. So much AI compute has to be done on the cloud, and I think they're really winning a lot of contracts. They're partnered with NVIDIA. So I think they're winning on that front too. You're right though. Most websites probably don't need the suite that AWS offers. But
your point is as in like my use case is not the common use case. But you know what I think, and also this is like a Gabe Newell ism, but there's a contingent of very technical people that are maybe the most concerned about, sharing of technology and the idea of open source being like kind of the most important thing, like the main pillar of us progressing in software. And those people, I count myself among them, we're kind of allergic to the Amazon ecosystem, I think. So I see it as like it's definitely an enterprise solution that cannot be, there's no competition there. But I think where people do really interesting, cool things, I would argue, there's hosting platforms that are more in that ethos that I'm describing.
Mm-hmm. I thought another interesting thing, just from the broader earnings report from Amazon, they have entered the display ad business at maybe the worst time in history to be a display ad company. And they're taking share from both Facebook and Google. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They listed some of their partners. Imager. All those horrible ads that you see on Imager, Amazon. Not Google, not Facebook. Amazon.
Really?
Yeah. So I think that's interesting, Joe, because you're going to see this weird relationship between AWS and the ad network, I think, over time. But yeah, I don't know. Amazon.
The Amazon approach, though, is kind of like there's really no when you say it's like the worst time to get into display ads, like it's just kind of like that they don't even think that way.
No,
it's more so Amazon's strategy is that display ads are still a thing, and therefore Amazon participates in it. That's really what it is. which is
it's not
bananas.
unlike the Shack News philosophy of the entire industry is crumbling around us, but if we stick it out, we can gain market share. I think that's their attitude, is that landing a client like Imager is a pretty big deal, right? Like think about how many ads that website by itself is serving.
Sure.
So yeah, I think you're dead right. It's entirely possible that they can enter a space that is in trouble and that they can win because the pricing power that they have, the brand they have, and their existing relationships with partners. Yeah. I guess when you make $143 billion in sales in a quarter, you're probably too big to fail in the sense that it's impossible to fail. It's like you're already too big.
I'm sure layoffs are around the corner.
They've already done them. Those tend to be seasonal at Amazon. Nothing as bad as what Google did, where Google fires people and then like 2 weeks later announces a $70 billion share buyback. That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, that's so absurd.
That's it. We did it. Those are the longies. We did it. We did the podcast. Real quick, from a community notes perspective, we do have some community notes. We got a few comments from the Shack News community, mainly on the YouTube channel. But yeah, you can also chime in on Shack News Chatty in the article page. But yeah, Haas Mamu says, I miss Johnny Dip Out Coboat. Someone has to come in last in Joe's game.
And then he replied, scintillating burn. Yeah. I wish John was here to get burned like that.
Yeah, well, maybe if John actually listens to this episode all the way till the end, he will hear that sick burn from Haas Mamu. But, if I were a betting man, I don't know. Yeah, that's my brother, by the way. He is a prolific typo person. Coboat is one of my favorite typos of his.
Coboat's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I think I might just call John a Coboat next week.
You just said if you're a betting man, so are you saying that we're going Dave and Buster's and you're going to be able to bet on the Shack Together?
Next episode? God, can you imagine if there were prop bets on podcasts? I don't know. Once again, I think America has a gambling problem.
Yeah.
We may run on Duncan, but we're definitely running from Duncan to like a slot machine or something. Like, just stop.
Put that on a t-shirt.
So yeah, that's it. We did it. You can hit us up at I don't know.
No, you don't have to do it.
I'm saying if you want to comment on the article, comment on the YouTube video, or even email me. You can email me at asif.khan@shacknews.com. And I'm not going to spell it out, but there you have it. Nice. We did it. That's the show. Thanks, Bill, for joining us.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, and thanks to Joe for putting together not a game, but just I guess a look at user reviews on Steampreciation. That was fun. And yeah, shout out to 3-letter websites that don't play entire games and give them 4 out of 10. Shout out. That's it. That's the show.
Thanks, Bill.
We wave. I'm gonna wave at the camera that's not on. I'm doing that, and then I'm saying bye, 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 bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you. I'll never forget you.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at shacknews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required, but if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.